It has been a wonderful gift to have gotten to know many of you over the past few weeks of being here. And during those weeks, several people have asked me, as you would imagine, as we try to get to know one another, have asked me what it was that really attracted me most about the priesthood, what it was that made me decide to answer God's call to become a priest. And the answer is kind of difficult to give, and there's so many things that I love about being a priest. But typically the way that I answer that is that what really drew me into the ministry was that I love to ask people for money. It really is just the best. Okay, that's not true at all. But that's what I get to do this weekend. And this weekend we do have the Catholic Ministries Appeal weekend. And the Catholic Ministries Appeal is the new version of what we know as fruitful harvest. And it's a way that our bishop asks us to cooperate in all of the ministries and the charities that happen at the diocesan level. So in your pews this weekend, you're going to find in the hymnal racks these little envelopes, if you want to go ahead and grab one of those now. And also in each of those envelopes is a little pencil, and you can fill that card out now if you would like to, and feel free to do that while I'm talking. I'll let you know when I want your attention again. So the Catholic Ministries Appeal has a number of notable changes from the Fruitful Harvest Appeal. I think most importantly for us is that it's moving from being a biennial appeal, that is an appeal that happens every 2 years, to becoming an annual appeal. And as we're making that transition, this year's Catholic Ministries Appeal is going to cover 16 months. And also another important change, especially for us here at Our Lady of Grace, is that there are no longer going to be dovetail campaigns with the appeal. And the dovetail campaign was something that we would use here an awful lot in order to keep paying down our mortgage and to help in our efforts of debt reduction. But even with the changes, those that I mentioned and some more, this appeal still goes to support so many excellent ministries that happen at the diocesan level. And what we're doing is that we're donating in order to help the bishop do the work that he has been given by God of caring for and directing his parishes in his diocese, and also to help him with the great charities that happen from his office. And a lot of times when we have given to Fruitful Harvest in the past, we're asked to give to the Catholic Ministries Appeal, it kind of feels like we're throwing money into a black hole. We don't feel like we see the fruit of what we are giving to support. And one of the great privileges that I had was for the past 2.5 years or so, up until August 19th when I arrived here, was that I was the vocations director of the diocese, and I got to see firsthand what a lot of this money goes to support. And half of the vocations office budget is supported by the Seminarian Fund Appeal, but the other half came from Fruitful Harvest. And I saw how much good those donations did to do the work in my office of forming the next generation of priests, of promoting vocations here in our diocese. And I realized so frequently while I was in that work how all of that would have been so impossible without the support and generosity of those who gave, often who gave blindly to the diocese. And so I can testify to the immense gratitude of those who are entrusted with using the funds that you donate through these appeals. So on behalf of all of them, thank you, thank you, thank you. That money goes to support so many wonderful things, and you are cooperating with things that without you, we could never accomplish. Our parish's goal for the Catholic Ministries Appeal this year is $389,000. And here we are in the middle of a global pandemic, and everyone is suffering. And here at Our Lady of Grace, our parish is struggling financially like so many other organizations in the world right now. And many weekends, what we find is that our in-pew collections are about 50% of what they typically are, and 50% of what we have budgeted for. And so I know that everyone is asking for money. Everyone is asking for your generosity in the midst of very difficult times that we're in together. And I realize this is just one more thing that is asking for your help. And so here is what maybe I can request from you that I think is both doable and agreeable in the midst of our circumstances. Because number one, we are struggling financially as a parish. Because number two, there are no longer dovetail campaigns with the bishop's appeal. And so we can't, in that way, continue our efforts of debt reduction. And number three, because our goal as a parish really is significantly higher, proportionately speaking, than it was in 2018 in that Fruitful Harvest campaign, here's what I'm asking, is that if it's possible for your family, given all the hardships that are going on right now, if it's possible for your family, if you would be able to maintain the same level of giving as your 2018 Fruitful Harvest pledge, that would be a wonderful gift and help to us. But I would like to ask you to allocate that money in a little bit of a different way. 80 to 85% of that 2018 Fruitful Harvest gift, we're asking that that would go to support the bishop and the Catholic Ministries Appeal. But 15 to 20% of that, we're asking that becomes an additional donation here to Our Lady of Grace for our regular collections. And what that's going to help us do, if we're able to give 80 to 85% to the diocese from our 2018 pledge and 15 to 20% to our parish, it's going to help us meet that goal that has been set for us by the diocese and help the bishop with all those ministries that he's involved with. But it's also going to help us maintain our own parish ministries here at home. And it's going to help us continue our efforts of debt reduction, which in a lot of ways can get in the way of fulfilling the mission that we have as a church. And so, if you would, those pledge cards that you have, if you are ready to make a pledge today, feel free to fill those out, and in the back of church, you are going to find baskets where you can drop those pledge cards. If you're not ready to pledge today and you want to take that home and talk it over a little bit, please feel free to do that. You can bring it back next Sunday and drop it into the collection basket. You can bring it by the office anytime this week. You can put a stamp on it and send it in the mail, or you can follow the instructions that are on the back of that card to go online and to make your pledge electronically. Also, there's a little bit of a miscommunication, and the baskets that are in the back are marked for the Catholic Ministries Appeal pledge cards. Those are also for your weekly collection, so feel free to throw everything into those baskets after Mass. To close here, I've heard so many stories, and I have seen the numbers of your generosity during this time, and especially during the shutdown. And if we haven't said it enough, I want you to make sure that you are hearing it from me. Thank you for your goodness to your parish here. Thank you for your continued support, even in the midst of a lot of uncertainties. Your generosity is so wonderfully appreciated and is such an immense help so that we can continue to do the work that Christ has given us to do. And now we're going to go ahead and have the rest of our announcements for this weekend.